How's it going, my fellow shiny Pokemon? ShinySnorlax here again, guys. I'm Pokemon Showdown UU battling, and I messed up a bit. Turns out I did not update this team. But let's get to the team preview. We have RHYPERIor with Choice Scarf, Sheer Force, Superpower, Return, Brave Bird, and U-Turn. Escavalier, Choice Band, Overcoat, Knockoff, Drill, Run, Mega Horn, and Iron Head. RHYPERIor, Leftovers, Solid Rock, Toxic, Stone Edge, Earthquake, and Stealth Rock. Registeel, Leftovers, Clear Body, Seismic Toss, Stealth Rock, Toxic, and Thunder Wave. Delphox, Choice Scarf, Blaze, Shadow Ball, Grass Knot, Psychic, and Fire Blast. Tangrowth, Choice Specs with Generator, Focus Blast, Agent Power, Focus Blast, and Leaf Storm. I plan on getting rid of this altogether because it was an accident. But other than that, let's get to the battle. How's it going, my fellow shiny Pokemon? ShinySnorlax here, being guys. Pokemon Showdown RU gameplay, and of course team preview will be down in the description below. But other than that, let's get to the battle. If this could stop lagging, that'll be right. I lead off my RHYPERIor. Your opponent leads off the Magneton. I go for a U-turn to get out of there, and I was predicting electric type attacks, so I bring out my RHYPERIor, and I was right. Opponent went for a Volt Switch, and opponent brings out its Bronzong. I set up my Stealth Rocks, and opponent switches out, and I switch out into my Registeel. Opponent sets up their Stealth Rocks. I switch out to my Escavalier, and opponent switches out into his Gallade, and opponent goes for a Drain Punch and gets off a critical hit, and I go for a Mega Horn, taking out the Gallade. Opponent brings out its Tyrantrum, and opponent goes for a Flamethrower, and I bring out my RHYPERIor, and opponent switches out into its Bronzong. I go for the Superpower and get almost no damage off on the Bronzong, and I switch out into my Registeel, and opponent goes for a Gyro Ball. I go for a Seismic Toss, trying to chip damage the Bronzong to death. Opponent sets up one Light Screen, and I go for one more Seismic Toss. And opponent sets up a Reflect. I go for a Seismic Toss and take out the Bronzong. And opponent brings out a Gastrodon, and I go for a Seismic Toss. And opponent goes for a Scald. I'm just trying to stall out until the Reflect is gone. I go for a Seismic Toss, bringing the opponent down to about half health. And I go for a Seismic Toss again, and opponent goes for a Scald and gets off the burn. And I go for a Seismic Toss, taking out the Gastrodon. And opponent brings out its Tyrantrum, and opponent sets up one Nasty Plot. I go for a Seismic Toss, and it turns out it's a Zoroark. And opponent goes for a Flamethrower, gets a critical hit, and takes out my Registeel. And now the Reflect and Light Screen are both down, and I bring out my RHYPERIor, go for a Superpower, and take out the Zoroark. Opponent brings out its Tyrantrum, and I switch out into my RHYPERIor, hoping that I could take an attack. And opponent goes for a Dragon Dance, and opponent goes for another Dragon Dance, and I go for a Toxic. Opponent goes for a Crunch, and I go for an Earthquake, taking out the Tyrantrum, and opponent forfeits, and that's basically it. So yeah, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe if you want to become a shiny Pokemon, and I'll see you next time.